upgraded in any way. Odyssey was holding her right shoulder.
The Indiana Fever finally broke through with a long-awaited playoff victory, a moment that should have been nothing but celebration. Yet somehow, the WNBA managed to spin the spotlight away from the triumph and straight into controversy. Instead of the headlines highlighting Lexi Hull's clutch steal or the heroics of Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, the narrative shifted to an unexpected clash between Sophie Cunningham and a league security guard. Sophie, wearing a bulky leg brace and clearly sidelined from action, wasn't storming the floor or causing any disruption. Still, a security guard decided to treat her like she'd just jumped into a brawl, barking orders as if she were out of line. What happened next, and what Sophie had to say, has everyone talking.in this video. We'll break down exactly what went down and why it's sparking debate. But before we dive in, tell us, was Sophie unfairly singled out, or was security just doing their job? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Sophie, you're like that? Yeah, Chloe, she's like that. She's like that. She ain't moving. And then she puts her hands on the... Let me talk to your manager. Oh, shit. All right, Sophie, say no more. Say no more. Now, when your teammate gets injured, you're allowed to hop on the court and just to see if your teammate's doing good. So, injured, healthy. So, Chloe, Sophie... They had every right to be on the court over here.
Here's the real question everyone's wrestling with. Was this nothing more than an overzealous rent-a-cop flexing authority? Or does it fit into a bigger, more troubling pattern we've already seen in the WNBA? One where certain players are treated differently because they don't align with the league's preferred narrative. When you step back and look at the history, it's tough not to feel like Sophie Cunningham was deliberately singled out. Her response, measured but unapologetically firm, made it clear she wasn't going to be pushed around by what amounted to a glorified hall monitor. And that's what makes the scene so surreal. This moment should have been pure celebration. The Fever had just clawed out a dramatic playoff win, despite missing Caitlin Clark and nearly half their core rotation. Players like Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, Chloe BBY, Damiris Dantas, and Sophie herself. Fans were on their feet. The team was buzzing. Post-season energy was pouring through the arena. Instead of letting that moment breathe, we got the bizarre image of Sophie, hobbling in a bulky brace at mid-court, suddenly being confronted by league security. No scuffle, no rule broken, no actual threat. Yet somehow, she was treated like a problem.
The F is that security guard all up on Sophie Cunningham. And look, I think there is a reason she got up in Sophie's face. And I don't think there was any need to sort of bow up to Sophie like that. I don't think, and to Sophie's credit, she did not back down at...
Think about the optics for a second. Sophie Cunningham, hobbling around in a heavy brace, not even remotely capable of sprinting, gets cornered by a security guard who looked more interested in flexing authority than de-escalating anything. The cameras didn't miss a beat. They caught Sophie's face shifting in real time. First confused, then irritated, and finally settling into that signature Cunningham glare fans know by heart. It was the look that said, "Seriously? This is what you're coming at me for right now." And honestly, she had every reason to give it. The clip exploded online almost instantly. Within minutes, Sophie's staredown was everywhere, replayed, clipped, slowed down, and dissected. And the reaction? Pure outrage. Not because Sophie blew the situation out of proportion, but because fans could see exactly what was happening. This wasn't about enforcing rules, it was about unnecessary harassment. And that's where it cuts deeper. For years, Sophie's been saddled with the villain tag, cast as the league's agitator, the disruptor, the player you love to hate. But here's the truth. Moments like this don't reveal a villain. They reveal a pattern. A player who, time and time again, gets treated differently than everyone else, regardless of what she's actually doing on the court, or in this case, while she wasn't even playing.
Folks, I didn't realize how much fun I would have watching these people break down. It's a meltdown. It's a meltdown on Twitter today. It's embarrassing to a certain extent. Not for me, for them. And then we got the Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever getting booed as they're getting off their court.
And here's the why. Sophie Cunningham doesn't toe the WNBA's party line. She speaks her mind. She pushes back on narratives. She carries herself with confidence, unapologetic and unfiltered. And she refuses to shrink just because it would make people more comfortable. That's exactly why she's treated differently, by rival fan bases, by media voices, and now, apparently, by the league's own staff. This is the same Sophie Cunningham who regularly trends on social media, whose clips go viral, and whose fan base is one of the most vocal in women's basketball. She's box office. She drives engagement. She's good for business. But instead of embracing her, the league seems determined to frame her as a problem. The backlash was immediate. Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube lit up. Fans didn't mince words. Some flat out said, "Sophie gets treated this way because she doesn't fit the league's preferred image." Others called out the racial and cultural double standards on full display. If Angel Reese or Paige Buchers had been in Sophie's shoes, the narrative would have been spun as passion, leadership, heart. But Sophie Cunningham, in a leg brace, doing nothing but standing on the court? Suddenly she's cast as the issue. Fans weren't buying it. They pushed back loudly. Within hours, hashtags like #FreeSophie and #WNBAExposed were trending, a digital clapback to the league's mishandling of the moment.
This out right here.
Anyone thought it would be. You have two teams.
Yeah, you see this guy right here, right in this Gentile area. You see this guy? The ref asked this dude to step out here. All right. Now, Cheryl Swoops wants this referee fired. She wants him fired. Look, he felt something. He felt something was amiss. Of course, Cheryl Swoops is defending Dejanay.
And here's the kicker. Sophie never even escalated. She didn't lash out. She didn't cause a scene. She simply held her ground. A glare. A stance. A refusal to be bullied. In that moment, she displayed more professionalism than the very security guard who had created the confrontation in the first place. That's why the clip blew up online. It wasn't drama she started. It was drama the league manufactured. Now let's connect some dots. This isn't the first time we've seen something like this. Remember when refs claimed discomfort around Dana Carrington and security got involved? The league moved fast to protect her. The Players Association stepped in. The narrative became one of unfair treatment, and everyone rushed to rally behind her. So why the silence now? Why, when the exact same type of incident happens to Sophie, does the league go quiet? Why is it only the fans pointing out the hypocrisy, while league leadership stays on mute? The double standard couldn't be clearer.
Sophie Cunningham, because she's white, she's beautiful, all these things, right? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100, as they say. Sophie Cunningham is the most beautiful woman in this league. All right, she's the hottest woman in this league, and they're mad they can't